It's a bull. Good afternoon. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in absolutely lovely Lauderdale by the Sea, 60-something degrees, 66 degrees or thereabouts. It looks like we got a couple tourists on the beach because there are no Floridians that would go out here with a bathing suit. If you see someone walking down the beach with a parka on, that's probably a Floridian. So that's 66. Well, let's take a look and see what spot prices are. Hope you had a good weekend. My weekend was not bad. I'm doing a little bit of everything besides helping out my family. I'm also running a campaign for town commissioner here in Lauderdale by the Sea. So I am quite busy every which way. Well, here's my saying for the day. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And fool me thrice, go ahead, I'm an idiot. So I don't know who said this, but I thought it was pretty much true. Basically, this is what we've had going on for years and years. We've been fooled so many times, once, twice, thrice even, I think, and more by our government, by our officials, especially by corporate media who consistently lies to us. This is an issue. This is a problem with the world right now, is that sources of information are just completely shit. So where do you find them? Well, I don't know. Maybe you can find some good information here when it comes to precious metals. So let me go into what's going on here in the markets today, and it's up quite a bit. I'm actually quite impressed. I'm happy with what's going on. Though how much of this has to do with the war? And as I've been telling a lot of you silver folks out here, you got to watch the price of gold. Where gold goes, silver will follow. And I believe right now gold is leading the way as far as silver goes, especially right now with the drumbeat of war going on. Even though, folks, that's nothing but jawboning and posturing, and this current administration and other government officials all over the world trying to rope us into another Cold War. And you know my feelings on this. I've already lived through one Cold War. I don't need to go through many. Where are the peacemakers? They're not out there, folks. All we got is war hawks and idiots running the show. And again, remember that no matter where you live in the world. If you live in the United States, remember the midterms. Remember the upcoming elections. If you live in another country, UK, France, Canada, remember what these people did, folks. Remember how they're going to how they ruin the economy even before the critter. Just remember all this stuff when election times come up worldwide and globally. But meanwhile, jawboning war has been good for the price of gold. I think I just recently read that a lot of people moved into GLD just recently. Ted Butler makes a very excellent point there, is that only a small amount of people, a vast majority of the public, when it comes to buying gold and silver, they're familiar with ETFs. I know a lot of you aren't big fans of ETFs, and some of you believe that the ETFs don't have the gold to back it up. There is mixed thoughts on that. I'm kind of going to go with Ted Butler. I believe that they do have the gold to back it up in the ETFs, that they would have to. It's in the prospectus. But again, allocated, unallocated, I'm not quite sure. And I'm not going to get into that right now. We've talked about that many times before. But most your average Joes out there get into the ETF, GLD or SLV. That's the ones they mostly get into. And it looks like a lot of people kind of piled onto GLD this week, again, which drove up the price of silver as well, I believe, and the drumbeat of war. Now, when this starts to die down, and it will, we're not going to war, folks. This was just a good way for this current administration to look good somehow. I don't know how they feel they're looking good, because this is exactly what's happening. They fooled us once, they fooled us twice, they fooled us many times before, and at this point, if you believe what they're telling you, you're an idiot. So I'm sorry, I just have to say it. That's my opinion, of course. You may think I'm an idiot, but no less. Oh man, we're just going right down the line here with what I'm giving away everything I'm going to talk about here. So let's talk about gold prices right now, since that's what we're looking at on the up day. A high of 1871, a low of 1852, and currently sitting at that 1862 range. Folks, I can say that this is possible, like I said, as soon as the current administration here is done jawboning and playing make pretend war, so they can take the focus off of how bad the economy is, and that the equities market and the markets across the board are going to take a crap. They're in big trouble, folks, with the midterm. They've done nothing but bad stuff, really. Nothing good has come out of this current administration, and I'm not pumping the last one either, so I'm just going to tell it like it is. I don't care who's in office. Well, let's take a look at silver here. 23.56, a high at 23. 23.95. Man, we were touching that 24 mark. Backed off a little bit right now. Platinum at 1,029, a high 1,043, and a low 1,022. I'm really kind of surprised platinum hasn't taken off further, but I believe, again, this is primarily gold's up. Silver's up primarily because of gold, and gold's up primarily because of the jawboning war, whatever the frick it is they think they're doing that's constructive. Again, just trying to keep the focus off of their idiocy, in my opinion. Let's take a look at what we got going on here in the 24-hour markets. And activity, no monkey hammering so far today. It looks like we're kind of in an up market, and oddly enough, where's our up market up at? It's in the New York Crimex markets at 820. Look at the shaded line right there, and then boom, from that period on, it's upward momentum. Sure like to hear some ideas of what's going on there. Again, that's for gold. Here's silver right here. Silver, again, about 8 o'clock, 8:20 this morning when the Crimex markets open. Up again, backed off a little bit. And as I said, I think that we're going to see a pullback in gold. Come on, I just feel it. I don't see a reason for it to continue going up. You didn't see a big reason why it shot up as fast as it did this last weekend. I think mostly just a fear thing that a lot of people may have piled into GLD thinking that we are going to war, not realizing that this is just a jawboning attempt to take the focus off of, again, the idiocy of this current administration. Well, let's take a look at what's going on in the stock markets, kind of sideways here, wait and see what's happening. There is some data coming out this week, so again, I think if the data comes out pretty poor, tough to say. We've got a couple different things going on here. As long as people believe that there's a potential that we're going to war with Russia, that'll probably get more inflows going into GLD, which will pull up the price of silver as well. And if the economic numbers come in poorly as well, we could see the stock market down. So you got two things going here. You got a down stock market, down equity market because of poor numbers. Again, we got a lot of reports coming up this week, and you've got a potential for war. So that explains gold being up where it is. But as soon as that stuff kind of fades off, as soon as the American public has said, well, we've been fooled again when it comes to this bullshit war thing in Ukraine that the UK and the United States have made up, we'll probably be trading downward a little bit more for sure in precious metals. But meanwhile, let's see what happens. Gosh, it's just interesting stuff going on out here. Let's take a look at the gold, what the best deals out there in gold are. And I can tell you, stick with bars right now. You can get gold bars anywhere from, I think my cost on gold bars went down. My cost is spot plus $35 an ounce, thereabouts on the wholesale level. I like to make $45 on top of that on small deals, and then I can work down depending on the quantity that we're selling on gold bars. But still, gold bars are the best deal out there. The next best deal out there would have been Krugerrands, except I am out of them right now. I had a good lot come in that I had bought at a reasonable price, and I was passing that along to my customers, but we're almost out of those. So after that would be maple leafs. I forget when maples are running. I think my cost on those is either 45 or 50 over. And again, I'd like to make $45 an ounce in small quantities. Larger quantities, I'll work my way down once you get up to 10 ounces or more. And silver, same way. Best deals out there are generic silver bars, 1 ounce, 10 ounce. And let me see if I can go to that page. There we go. 1 ounce generics, 10 ounce generics, and 100 ounce generics are the best deal out there. I think my cost on 100 ounce generics right now is spot plus, I want to say $2 or $2.25 or something like that. Hang on. Let me see if I can find my little sheet that I jotted it down on. 1 second here. And 100 ounce bars. No, my cost on them is $2.25. And again, I like to make $1 an ounce on smaller deals, so I bump them up to $3.25. And as you know, I advertise to be at MaxJM and SD Bullion on their generic products and a lot of other products. I don't recommend buying Eagles right now, folks. I know a lot of you like them, and they're pretty, and I love them too, but they're just overpriced. And there's this belief that you're going to get more for them when you go back to sell them. That's true in a market when it's a buyer's market. In a seller's market, that's not true. And hopefully you'll be in a sell. That's when you want to sell, in a seller's market. So in a buyer's market, you're going to pay more for gold eagles and silver eagles, and when you go to sell, in a seller's market, when everyone's selling because the price is high, chances are the premiums are going to just drop out of nowhere, and you'll be getting the same thing for the guy standing next to you with a 100-ounce bar in his hand. Again, just my opinion. I've seen this happen many times over the years. So anything that you can pick up for spot minus or spot plus 350 or less is a good deal in silver, in my opinion. Anything that you can pick up for spot less, spot plus, let me say around 85 or 90 bucks or less is a good deal in gold. Avoid premiums higher than that, because again, folks, I just don't think you're going to get it back. That's just my opinion. And what's my opinion worth? Well, I've been doing this since '77, pretty much full time, and I understand this business real well. And really, even though some folks may not want me to say that Silver Eagles are a terrible deal at the premium they are right now, they really are, folks, and I know what I'm talking about. If you own them already, you bought them at a good price, you're fine. But at the levels they've been getting the last couple of years for them, they're overpriced by a long shot. Let's take a look at what's going on this week. Zero Hedge says key events, retail sales, and the PPI are coming up. And it's quieter week in terms of scheduled releases. Let's see. And what else we got? I think, what is that, Wednesday or not? I'm not going to read the whole article, but we do have some data coming out from the Fed. We also got the retail sales and the PPI numbers come out. Let's see what effect that has on the price of gold and silver. I suspect that the numbers aren't going to be good. Overall, we could, again, things in tandem. The bad numbers coming out, FOMC meeting, if they announce a rate hike. If this war drum beating bullshit goes on much longer. Again, folks, we're not going to get in a war. They know it. Russians know it. United States know it. This is just jawboning and some attempt at propagandizing something, I'm sure. If all this stuff comes together, we could see even much higher gold prices this week. But I don't like to see dramatic, giant leaps in the price of gold and silver. It just kind of bothers me a little bit. And that's kind of why I think we're going to see a return to that. And this is kind of why I'm saying it's jawboning, folks. It's jawboning. Let's take a look at, it appears that Ms. Pelosi appeared on ABC this week with George Stephanopoulos. Isn't that a character on Sesame Street, Stephanopoulos? Okay, sorry, I had to say that. This was all planned in advance. It's guaranteed to be a political pantomime. The first topic is Russia-Ukraine crisis. Dun, 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 dun. Let's throw some good CNN war music in there. With Stephanopoulos asking Pelosi directly if she believes Russian President Vladimir Putin is about to invade Ukraine. Pelosi's response, tell us all we need to hear, folks, and this I've been telling you ever since this whole Ukraine thing has been going on. Well, I think we have to be prepared for it. How do you like my Pelosi voice? And that is what the president is. Yes, I do believe that he's prepared for an invasion. I also understand why the president of Ukraine wants to keep people calm. He wants his economy not to suffer. And if she's wondering why she's saying that, the president of Ukraine is saying to this current administration, which includes Pelosi, what the F are you guys doing? There's nothing happening here. There's no war going to happen. Why are you guys doing this? Well, we know why they're doing it, and let's get on to that. But on the other hand, if we're not threatening the sanctions and the rest, it would guarantee that Putin would invade. Let's hope that diplomacy works. It's about diplomacy deterrence. Diplomacy deterrence. And the president made it very clear there's a big price to pay to Russia to go there. So if Russia doesn't invade, it's not that he never intended to, it's just the sanctions worked. I'm very proud of the work the president has done. Did you hear this, folks? This is what Nancy Pelosi, she just gave away the whole game. It's been nothing but jawboning, a war that was never going to happen, simply to do what? Maybe to take your minds off of how awful these people are. Again, I can't say that enough times. And as this article points out, can you see the domestic political scenario that has been created out of thin air? The blue people need to win on something, anything, to shift the narrative and change the reality of the failure into an illusion of success. And first they accuse Putin of doing something that he never intended to do. They fabricated the scenario, the same way they fabricated the election Russian narrative. You remember that, folks? Turned out to be a giant lie. Same way they fabricated the critter 19 thing, the same way they're going to blame critter 19 for a bad economy. It wasn't the critter that killed the economy. It was them. It wasn't just one party, too. Trust me on this. Some folks have said, well, listen, the last party wasn't fiscally conservative, and I agree 100%. The last party and the last people that were involved were not fiscally conservative in any shape or so I agree with that. Both parties suck. Pardon my expression. They both bring us to this level. Anyways. Oh my gosh, all right. I'm telling you, I'm going to go off. Second, tell the world you will strongly respond to a fabricated scenario. Third, tell the world the exact date when the fabricated scenario is supposed to be happen. Then, when the fabricated scenario never happens, it is because you are so brilliant and strong to outmaneuvered and cowed the Russians. Folks, that's exactly what's going on here. They fabricated this war in Ukraine. It was never going to happen. Never going to happen. They fabricated the entire thing so they could create this narrative that they prevented a world war. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Anyways, I'm moving on. I think you get it as well as I do. I think that at some point when they fool you once, it's shame on us, shame on them. Fool me twice, shame on me, but fool me 3 times, it ain't going to happen anymore. I'm done with these idiots. I guess you are as well. Let's take a look at what else is going on here. Not much in the news. Again, wait and see how this all develops, and we'll find out here this week, won't we? I kind of think we're going to see prices continue to move up with gold and silver. Now, I do believe once that this Ukraine-Russia event turns out to be the non-event, like it really is and always has been, once the general American public out there that watches the 30-second sound bites on Fox and CNN, once they come around to the fact that it's not going to happen, hopefully they don't believe that this administration stopped anything, because it was all bullshit to start with. But once the general public starts to figure out that nothing's going to happen, we could see prices of gold come down, and that'll drop the price of silver down as well. So I think this is just temporary right now. However, we're in a bull market. Relax. We're going to see up days like this, and we're going to see things like this happen. Well, thanks for watching Friday's video. Silver is a hyper-leashed greyhound. I didn't know how quite to phrase that. I was just trying to put the, silver has been moving around in these 50-cent increments, up and down, erratic movements in the morning and the evening, different times during the day. I'm sure a lot of that has to do, again, with monkey hammering going on. But no less, it seems to me like it's one of those racing greyhounds at the racetrack on a leash that is just so hyper. It's bouncing around, and it's trying to chase that rabbit. And once the leash is off, say goodbye to $20 silver, man. I think we're going to sail into the 30s pretty fast at that point. But let's take a look at some comments out here. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Digital Music says if the gold price is the same now, it has lost about 10% of its value due to inflation. Excuse me. Let me get a sip of coffee here. Sorry about that. Talking too much. You can cherry pick particular times, but you can also pick a time when gold has gone up dramatically too, if you want to talk about that. So, if you cherry pick times and frames and moments, you can always say an asset. I don't care what it was or what it is, real estate, cryptos, or gold. You can always show an up or down movement. But thanks for watching Digital, and don't worry about it too much. That's minor. Again, provides a great opportunity to buy, in my opinion. Dan says, thank you, Dan. Appreciate you watching as well. And Anonymous Andy. And let me go down here. I'd like to, again, God, if I repeat every name on this video, we're going to be here for 2 hours. But I'm going to just kind of answer some questions, some comments out here. Mr. Nova, sorry, man, I didn't mean to shock you with the language, but hey, listen, if I could put a occasional R rating on here, PG. The words that I use are a PG movie now, not R rated. So I just was speaking PG words, Mr. Nova, and I do apologize. But if you want to listen to my videos, and trust me, a couple F-bombs out there is certainly nothing bad. There's a lot worse stuff going out there if you take a look at how this current administration is handling the potential of sending off your kids to die. You're worried about me with F words, and this president and administration is trying to start a new Cold War to leave with your grandkids. I don't know, man. Yeah, setting a good example. Okay. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate it, Mike. Have a good day. And Forrest Bain says easy on the F word. I'm sorry, man. When I feel it, I'm going to say it, folks. So just be prepared for it and have the kids leave the room. But thanks for watching. I appreciate it even so. I am what I am, as Popeye would say. Boneheads destroyed the economy now. You have a freedom movement in Canada, Boneheads tell. Yeah, can't argue with that. I'm going to kind of go into here. And Randy brought up a good point. I lived in Ukraine for 10 years, which included a time when Yanukovych was thrown out of power. Well, I agree on your current analysis situation. To say America was responsible for what happened back then is not entirely correct. Well, you are correct in that manner. It does take two to tango. However, the Ukraine was overthrown by the CIA, more or less. Nuland was involved with it. I don't know why we went in there and kind of screwed things up worse. And again, I'm sure the Russians had something to do too with the Russian guy winning the election over there as well. There's a little bit of both going on, but you know what? Do we need to go back in the Cold War? I don't think so. And really, I talk more about this, and I see that there's some good replies down here, so I encourage you guys to reply. But we just don't need another Cold War. Glenn says, "Yep, I agree with you." And let me see if there's anything in here again that I can answer. And I'd like to thank everybody. Man, at some point, I'm not going to be able to answer all these questions and acknowledge everyone. I feel bad about that. I'm going to have to start picking some stuff out beforehand to answer. Again, so you don't see me just blabbing while I'm scrolling down the page. But I tell you how important it is for me to acknowledge all you folks, and that's why I do it. All right. I'm going to start reviewing these and answering some of these questions in a better way in the future. My apology for not doing it today. I'm going to end this show with think for yourself and question authority. I really appreciate you watching, folks. Let's see what happens tomorrow, and I'll get back to you then. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. We only deal face-to-face down here in Florida, so if you want to buy from us and you don't live near us, unfortunately I can't help you. But if you do, we're open 10 to 4. Like I said, come by anytime, and we're happy to help you out with your purchases. Listen, I'm going to roll. Got a lot to do. Got this report out a little bit late, and if I sound a little rushed and hurried, I was. Sorry about that. Anyways, get back to you. Have yourself a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.